And we're going to end here with a segment with you all talking about what can we do now? We know we have limited resources. We've been talking about that whole show, but we have students that are in school right now that need our help, that need our education expertise. What can we do right now to shorten this gap, I should say, Gerardo?
Well, I think from a Hispanic perspective, I would suggest all of the parents of Hispanic students to get involved, to actually attend school meetings and to actually try to maybe help out and try to fulfill some of the needs that the school may be needing. Just basically extending a helping hand and seeing whether that's going to help.
And in terms of cultural understanding as well, that needs to come into play too with families. Would you say that?
Yes, I think it's definitely important. And I think what those families can communicate to the schools and to the school systems is that it's important for schools to have an understanding of the different cultures, because basically the students of today are the citizens of tomorrow. So they need to have a multicultural understanding of the world in order to survive. The world is growing smaller by the day. And as I was saying to somebody before, coming to the studio, it's in Europe you have people that speak 4 or 5 languages, and here you have a monolingual society that's very resistant to speaking 2 or another second or third language. So there's a number of changes that we can try to achieve. So
let's go to you, Taryn, in terms of what we can do right now.
I think I'm not going to excuse and say we don't need resources. We do. But I think we need to relook at how we're using the resources we have. We have practices and procedures in schools that are 100 years old that I don't think are serving all of our children. The purpose of school has radically changed from being a sorting mechanism to these kids go to college, these kids go to the workforce, these kids go to the farm, to all children have to be gainfully employed. But our practices don't do that. We still have the A, B, C, D, F grading system. We still have monolingual instruction. We still have the same kids sitting in rows. We know so much more about how kids learn. We have brain-based research. We have so many more resources. We've got to leverage technology, and we've got to do, and I'm doing some of that with my study with female students in Spanish in science, and having tremendous success with that. But we just have to reach out of our comfort zone and see what the possibilities are.
Okay, Stephanie.
Well, I think we clearly have to be creative unless we want our students who've been historically underrepresented to have to survive their education. That's very problematic. So I think we need to build coalitions among universities and communities. I also think we need to look to the experts, teachers and people who do educational research, and listen to them. They have a lot of experience, and I think that's really important, and sometimes a big piece missing out of the puzzle. Teachers are there with students every day. I used to be a high school teacher, I know. And we just need to listen to them more. More grassroots, and just find out what's going on and see how we can truly help by building those type of coalitions.
Okay, we've been talking also about the resource aspect and the fact that schools are facing extremely tough times here in Indiana. What do you think that the repercussions are going to be down the road when we see the fact that we are going to have no librarians here in Monroe County, or those kinds of things, Stephanie?
It's just, I'm almost speechless when I think about that. I can't imagine. I know Miss Alexander was my elementary school teacher, and she introduced me to books. I wanted to read every book in the library because of her, and so taking that away is so problematic. And I was just recently talking to my youth today that I work with, and they were sharing how they had to bring paper to their library now. So I really don't, I can't even fathom that. And I just know that we have to do something. We have to do something differently, because it will impact our children.
Taryn?
I think we're not stepping back and saying, schools, we've got to do school different. We're still trying to keep the same paradigm and taking things away. Well, we don't have enough money for a librarian. We've got to get our priorities straight. If reading is important, then you have a librarian, but something else that may not be giving us the benefit that we want or think we're getting has to be adjusted and changed. It's all about prioritization and taking our limited resources and getting the biggest bang for our buck and keeping our kids at the forefront of all decisions that we make.
Gerardo, last
And
word.
I agree, it's definitely a prioritization issue, because until the U.S., until the school system realize that it's only by funding schools. I mean, schools are the ones that are training, as I said, the citizens of tomorrow, and we need to prepare everybody for what the world is going to be in 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And
Great.
if schools don't have the resources, we're going to suffer.
All right, thank you so much. And that's our show for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us for this edition of In Focus. And also, thanks to our panel experts. You were wonderful tonight. We appreciate it. And thank you, Stan, in the radio booth as well.
Thank you, Ann. Hey, let's get political next month.
Definitely. Don't forget to post your question for next month at infocus@indiana.edu. Or if you would like to participate in a blog, leave a comment, or see portions of this show, please visit our website, indianapublicmedia.org/infocus. Next month, we'll be discussing the state legislature and their vote to put caps on property tax bills, as well as the new redistricting reform bill on In Focus. Thanks for joining us, and have a great evening.
Production support for In Focus is provided by Smithville, a locally owned business serving central and southern Indiana since 1922, with residential and business internet, voice, and security services. Smithville, local pride, global technology. Information at smithville.net. And by viewers like you. Thank you.